In the glittering world of hip-hop, where loyalty is rare and secrets run deep, one name has just dropped a bomb that's shaking the entire game. 50 Cent, the ultimate truth teller, has stepped forward with shocking claims that could expose one of the biggest betrayals in rap history. According to insiders, Jay-Z, the mogul, the mastermind, the man who built empires, may have been secretly plotting to bury Nicki Minaj's rise once and for all. But why? What could drive the King of New York to allegedly move against the Queen of Rap? As whispers of blacklists, silent deals, and industry manipulation begin to surface, fans are asking the same question. Did Jay-Z really try to end Nicki Minaj's career? And how did 50 Cent find out the truth? Stay tuned, because this story isn't just about fame or rivalry. It's about power, betrayal, and the kind of moves that prove, in the music game, your biggest enemy might just be sitting in the same VIP section. The lights of New York never sleep, and neither does the rap industry that thrives under them. Behind the flash of red carpets and platinum plaques, there's another world entirely. One ruled by quiet deals, unspoken rivalries, and whispered power moves. And lately, one name has been echoing through every studio, every club, every podcast mic. Jay-Z. For years, Jay-Z has been seen as untouchable, the business genius who turned hip-hop into an empire. From Roc Nation to Tidal, from his billion-dollar ventures to his influence on nearly every major artist in the game, he's built a legacy that's larger than life. But power like that doesn't come without enemies. And according to 50 Cent, it doesn't come without secrets either. It all started quietly, with a few cryptic posts from 50 Cent online. Fans thought it was just another trolling moment, the kind of playful shots he's known for. But this time, the tone was different. The captions were sharper, the targets clearer. "They tried to play the queen," he wrote under a photo of Nicki Minaj, followed by a thinking emoji and the word watch. At first, nobody knew exactly what he meant. But within hours, the hip-hop internet lit up. Reddit threads, YouTube commentators, and even industry insiders began asking the same question. Who's the they 50 was talking about? Then came the interviews. 50 Cent, never one to hold back, began dropping hints on podcasts and live streams. He spoke about industry bosses trying to block artists from certain playlists. He talked about contracts written in shadows and people pretending to help while they're pulling strings behind the scenes. And in one particularly viral moment, he looked straight into the camera and said, "Don't ever think these labels or these execs move without a reason. Some of these guys play chess while everyone else playing checkers." And Nicki? She's been their biggest problem since day one. That one line changed everything. Suddenly, the conversation flipped. This wasn't just about music, this was about power. And when fans began to connect the dots between Nicki Minaj's public battles with certain industry figures, her fights for creative control, and Jay-Z's expanding influence through Roc Nation's management network, the picture got darker. Sources began claiming that Nicki had been offered a management deal years ago, one that would have put her under Jay-Z's Roc Nation umbrella. But according to insiders, she turned it down. She wanted full control over her image, her music, and her brand. And for some in the upper ranks of the industry, that move was seen as rebellion. That's when, according to 50 Cent, the plot began. He alleged that Jay-Z and his camp had quietly started influencing industry circles to cool off on Nicki, pulling her from certain opportunities, pushing other female artists instead, and reshaping the narrative of who the top woman in rap really was. To the public, it looks like natural competition. But 50 claimed it was far from that. He suggested that every Nicki versus insert rapper name beef, every controversy, every sudden PR disaster might not have been as random as it seemed. Meanwhile, Nicki herself had started to drop cryptic lines in her verses. In one freestyle, she rapped, "They tried to dim the queen's light, but now they are blinded by the glare." Fans started wondering, was she talking about Jay-Z? Then came one of the biggest clues yet. During a live interview, an anonymous ex-Roc Nation insider reportedly confirmed that there had been internal discussions about redirecting the spotlight to newer female rappers who would be easier to market and less politically charged. And if that's true, it would mean Nicki wasn't just fighting for her career. She was fighting against one of the most powerful figures in music history. And who better to bring this to light than 50 Cent, the same man who's made a career out of exposing hidden truths. As the tension built, 50 began teasing an exclusive drop, a video he claimed would clear everything up. Fans waited. The internet buzzed. And then during an Instagram live, he finally said it straight. Look, I respect Hav, but don't act like he ain't pulling no strings. You can't say you are for the culture when you're trying to control the whole board. That clip went viral in minutes. Within hours, Jay-Z versus Nicki was trending across platforms. People began revisiting old interviews, award show moments, and behind-the-scenes footage, searching for signs, a look, a comment, a gesture that might prove there was tension brewing all along. Jay-Z, as always, stayed silent. No statements, no tweets, just calm silence, the kind that says, I don't respond to rumors. But in the world of hip-hop, silence often speaks louder than words. Meanwhile, Nicki's fanbase and the Barbs and went to war online. They flooded timelines with old clips of Nicki praising Jay-Z, then juxtaposed them with moments where she seemed distant, almost cautious when his name came up. They pulled out timelines, receipts, and connections that made the hidden plot theory seem less like a rumor and more like a plan. And while the industry tried to brush it off as another viral cycle, insiders knew this was different. This time, 50 Cent wasn't just stirring the pot. He was serving the whole meal, because when 50 calls out a name, he doesn't stop halfway. He digs, he exposes, and he makes sure everyone's watching when the truth finally surfaces. And if what he's hinting at is real, then Jay-Z's empire might be about to face one of its biggest storms yet. The next few days after 50 Cent's explosive comments felt like an earthquake in the rap world. Every gossip blog, hip-hop page, and podcast was talking about it. Did 50 really just accuse Jay-Z of plotting against Nicki Minaj? What started as a single Instagram live had spiraled into a full-blown industry storm. But the chaos was just beginning, because 50 Cent wasn't done. He promised proof. And when 50 says that, everyone listens. It all began on a random Friday night. 50 went live again, this time joined by a few familiar faces, producers, former managers, and even a journalist who had once covered Roc Nation deals. The atmosphere was serious, the energy thick. He leaned forward, looked straight into the camera, and said, "People think I'm playing. But the truth doesn't hide forever. When you control the board, you can make anybody disappear. Until somebody flips it. Then, he dropped what he called the first piece of evidence. He pulled up a screenshot of a leaked email chain allegedly between an industry executive and a Roc Nation A&R. The email talked about rebranding the female rap landscape and elevating new faces over legacy acts. The tone was cold, calculated, and business talk at its finest. But one line stood out in bold: Nicki's brand is too dominant. She overshadows potential. Strategy needed to phase her out softly. Within minutes, social media exploded. Phase her out softly became the new trending phrase. Memes, threads, reaction videos everywhere. Was it real? Was it fake? No one could say for sure. But in the world of hip-hop drama, perception is everything, and that's exactly what 50 knew. He didn't stop there. He pulled up an old clip from a Roc Nation event where Jay-Z was seen casually mentioning a shift in the female rap direction while praising newer artists. To a normal listener, it sounded harmless. Just Hav talking about the next generation. But paired with 50's proof, the context felt different. It looked strategic, planned, icy. Then 50 said something that sent chills through the live chat. You can't build an empire and pretend to play fair. Everybody got skeletons, some just keep theirs better dressed. Fans went wild. Comments poured in like a tsunami, people taking sides, old interviews resurfacing, Nicki's verses being decoded line by line. Nicki herself hadn't responded publicly yet, but she began posting cryptic stories on Instagram. Black screens with lyrics like, "The truth always wins," and "I don't fear kings when I'm the kingdom." Her fan base, the Barbs, knew exactly what that meant. Meanwhile, Roc Nation's PR team was in overdrive. Quietly, they began reaching out to platforms, clarifying the situation, trying to control the narrative. Some outlets began deleting their posts. Others doubled down, chasing clicks off the controversy. And 50? He just watched it all burn. With that same smirk he's famous for. He even posted a meme of Jay-Z and Nicki side by side with the caption, "When the teacher sees the real student taking over the class." It was classic 50, brutal, clever, and dangerous, but what made things even more intense was that other artists began speaking up. Rappers who had been quiet for years started dropping hints in interviews, talking about politics, about big dogs blocking opportunities, about labels deciding who wins. One producer, known for working with both Jay-Z and Nicki, said, "It's a powerful thing, man. You can't be bigger than the system. Once you stop playing nice, they stop letting you play." Fans began to see a bigger picture, a pattern, and 50 Cent was making sure no one could ignore it anymore. The next twist came when a former Roc Nation staffer, known only as Tina B, did a short podcast interview, claiming she witnessed internal meetings where Nicki's commercial saturation was a problem. Her words went viral instantly. "They loved her numbers," Tina said, "but they didn't love her control." Nicki didn't need them. And in this business, that's the biggest threat. That clip hit like a thunderbolt because it wasn't just about Nicki anymore. It became a symbol. Artists versus industry. Independence versus control, truth versus image. Even major blogs that usually stayed neutral began posting side-by-side comparisons of artists allegedly pushed after Nicki's peak, pointing fingers at Roc Nation's rising roster. Suddenly, the internet wasn't debating if Jay-Z had done something. They were debating how far he went. But Jay-Z's camp isn't one to stay quiet forever. Within a week, anonymous sources close to Jay-Z began giving statements to major outlets, calling 50's claims baseless, irresponsible, and a desperate reach for relevance. That only made things worse. Because when you call out 50 Cent, he doesn't back down, he doubles down. He jumped back on Instagram the same night and said, "Don't talk about relevance when I'm the reason people still talking about y'all. I don't need a boardroom to tell the truth." Boom. Another explosion. By now, everyone in hip-hop was watching. Fans, critics, even OG legends started choosing sides. Some called 50 a truth teller, a necessary disruptor who keeps the industry honest. Others accused him of stirring drama for views and ego. But one thing no one could deny, the conversation had shifted. People weren't just talking about music anymore. They were talking about power, corruption, and control. Even Nicki's old interviews, where she talked about being blackballed or not being invited to certain industry events, suddenly resurfaced and hit differently. And behind all the noise, one truth was clear. Whatever this was, it wasn't ending anytime soon. As the dust settled from 50's second live, fans began speculating that he had more evidence, maybe messages, maybe contracts, maybe something even bigger. And the more people speculated, the more the mystery grew. If Jay-Z was truly pulling strings behind the scenes, 50 Cent was ready to cut them one by one, because for him, this wasn't just a feud. It was a mission. And the next chapters here would expose names no one ever thought would be mentioned. The music world had seen beef before. Drake versus Meek. Nicki versus Cardi, even Kanye versus the world. But nothing like this. This wasn't just a lyrical battle or a diss track war. This was about power, legacy, and who really runs the culture. Cent had thrown a match into a room full of gasoline, and now the entire industry was on fire. It started the following week when Rick Ross made a cryptic post on Instagram, a picture of him and Jay-Z at a private dinner with the caption, "Real bosses move in silence." The loud ones seek attention. Everyone knew who that was aimed at. 50 Cent responded in less than an hour with a photo of his power billboard towering over Times Square, and the caption, "Funny how silence only works when you're losing the argument." The war had officially gone public. Podcasts were breaking down every move, every lyric, every old interview for clues. YouTubers were posting Industry War Explained videos that hit 1 million views overnight. And behind all the chaos, more whispers began surfacing, this time from people deep inside the business. A producer known for working with both Nicki Minaj and Roc Nation, artists claimed he'd been warned years ago not to send beats to Nicki after she refused a Roc Nation partnership. They didn't blacklist her completely, he said, but they slowed down the machine. She wasn't getting the same push. That's how they do it. They don't end you, they exhaust you. That line hit social media like lightning. They don't end you, they exhaust you. Fans turned it into a slogan. Memes, TikToks, even merch started popping up overnight. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj herself had gone quiet. No interviews, no tweets. Just silence. But her fans were louder than ever. Protect Nicki trended globally for 2 days straight. Every clip of her speaking out about industry puppets or fake empowerment resurfaced. Fans were connecting dots between old award show snubs, sudden cancellations, and moments where Nicki seemed to allude to powerful men trying to control her narrative. Then 50 Cent dropped another bomb. On a podcast appearance with DJ Who Kid, he said, "You think Jay got all that influence and don't use it? Please, it's business. "You can't be the only queen in a kingdom where the king run the crown." That line went everywhere. It was quoted in blogs, reaction videos, and even made its way into late-night talk shows. Jay-Z's camp still kept quiet. No direct response. No statements, but behind the scenes, insiders said Roc Nation was furious. One anonymous exec reportedly said, "50's playing a dangerous game. He's messing with people who actually run things." But 50 was unbothered. He posted another meme, laughing in a Rolls-Royce captioned, "If the truth hurts, buy some bandages." The man was untouchable, and he knew it. As the days passed, the narrative grew darker. Some outlets claimed that Nicki Minaj had been deliberately excluded from major award nominations during certain years, despite chart dominance. Others alleged that strategic PR stories had been planted to paint her as difficult to work with. Each revelation fed the fire. And every time a new leak hit the internet, 50 Cent would share it with one word: checkmate. People started saying 50 wasn't just exposing Jay-Z, he was exposing the entire industry machine. Other artists began hinting too. Remy Ma dropped a subtle line during a live show. Funny how they say queen, but protect the throne from the real one. Even Busta Rhymes posted a cryptic emoji chain, a crown, a chess piece, and an explosion, with the caption, "It's all strategy." Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The older generation of rappers, the legends, were choosing sides, and lines were being drawn. Then came the night that changed everything. Nicki Minaj appeared unexpectedly on Instagram Live. No makeup, no flashy outfit, just raw emotion. She didn't say names, but she didn't need to. Her voice was calm, but steady. You can't rewrite history just because you got the power to erase people's names. Real ones don't fold when the system turns its back. They stand taller, the chat exploded. Barbs were crying, spamming hearts, tagging 50 Cent, flooding the feed with messages like, "We stand with the queen." And they can't stop the truth. Within minutes, 50 reposted a clip from that live with the caption, "Now you see why they scared." It was clear now. This wasn't just about music politics. This had become a movement, but the industry wasn't about to take the hit quietly. Within a few days, several mainstream blogs began publishing fact-check articles, calling 50's claims exaggerated and baseless. Some even tried to spin the story, framing it as an old rivalry being reignited for attention. That backfired instantly, because 50 responded with more receipts, screenshots of old tweets, audio snippets from label meetings, and clips of industry executives making offhand comments about controlling the narrative. He even captioned one post, "When you tell the truth, the liars start holding press conferences." Fans lost it. Jay's expos started trending for 48 hours straight, and through all of it, Jay-Z remained silent. The calm in the storm, the eye of the hurricane. But the question lingered in everyone's mind. Was he staying quiet because he was innocent? Or because he had too much to lose by speaking? Or because he had too much to lose by speaking? By the end of the week, the situation had gone beyond music. Talk shows, entertainment news outlets, and even financial blogs started analyzing the drama, wondering if it would affect Roc Nation's artists, business deals, or partnerships. The war wasn't just on social media anymore. It was creeping into boardrooms, press rooms, and private meetings. Some insiders even claimed that certain artists quietly cut ties with Roc Nation to avoid collateral damage. The empire that once looked unbreakable was showing cracks, and 50 Cent? He wasn't done yet. He ended one of his lives with a chilling statement. "You can silence one artist. You can control a narrative. But you can't bury the truth forever. And I ain't even dropped the real proof yet." That line alone sent the internet into chaos again. Because if this was just the beginning, then what came next might just destroy everything. The entire industry was trembling. For weeks, every post, every lyric, and every live stream had one name written all over it: 50 Cent. The man who once said he feared no one was about to prove it. Again, what started as a few cryptic shots had turned into a full-blown industry earthquake. And now, 50 Cent was promising something bigger, something he called the final nail in the coffin. The announcement came through his Instagram, 7 p.m. sharp, a black and white video. 50 sitting in his signature pose, cigar in hand, a cold grin across his face. They thought I was playing. They thought this was a joke. But when you mess with the wrong people, the truth always finds a way to surface. Tonight, I'm dropping proof, that was it. No hashtags, no teasers. Just a time, midnight, the world waited. When the clock hit 12, a 3-minute clip dropped on 50's official YouTube channel titled, "The Files They Didn't Want You to See." The video opened with blurred-out documents, muted phone calls, and snippets of conversations that sounded way too real. Then came the bombshell. Audio from an alleged industry meeting, voices discussing how to control the female market and who fits the narrative. While names were bleeped, fans were quick to analyze every voice, tone, and context. And when one voice said, "Nicki doesn't play by the rules. She can't be controlled," the internet exploded. Within minutes, Jacker the Files started trending globally. Reaction channels were live streaming, analysts were breaking down the audio, and fans were piecing together timelines that linked everything from award snubs to public feuds. The wild part? The clip wasn't even 100% confirmed authentic, but it didn't matter. People believed it, because the pattern fit too perfectly. The next morning, every major media outlet had no choice but to cover it. Complex, TMZ, Rolling Stone, XXL, all with headlines like, "50 Cent's explosive new video sends shockwaves through the industry." Nicki Minaj's career sabotage allegations resurface after viral clip. Jay-Z's camp was silent again. But that silence spoke volumes. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj posted one single tweet. No words, just a broken crown emoji. It instantly became the most quoted post of the week. Behind the scenes, tension reached boiling point. Roc Nation sources reportedly demanded YouTube take down 50's video, claiming false and defamatory material. But it was too late. Mirror uploads had spread everywhere: TikTok, Reddit, Telegram, even private Discord servers. The truth, or at least 50's version of it, was now unstoppable. And that's when he did something no one saw coming. Jen went on Instagram Live with Nicki Minaj. It was like seeing two generals of hip-hop history stand side by side. Fans poured in, over 600,000 live viewers, breaking streaming records. Nicki started first, voice calm but steady. You can try to bury a real one, but the dirt always turns to diamonds. "I've been quiet long enough." Then 50 looked at the camera, unbothered, confident, and deadly serious. They wanted to silence her. They wanted control. But you can't silence truth. They thought I was just trolling, but this is what they didn't want y'all to see. The chat went wild. Fans were spamming emojis, hashtags like "Nicki deserved better" and "Jay-Z files," and even old-school rap legends joined the live. This was no longer just entertainment. This was a cultural moment. In the days that followed, chaos ruled the industry. Roc Nation's PR team scrambled to manage the narrative, but the internet had already chosen its side. Artists who had once stayed neutral were suddenly speaking out. Meek Mill surprisingly posted, "I seen some of that stuff before. Ain't gon' lie, it ain't all cap," Fat Joe said during a podcast. "This is bigger than beef. This is truth versus power." And 50, he's dangerous because he got nothing to lose. And just like that, 50's campaign had turned into a revolution. But here's the twist no one saw coming. 2 weeks later, leaked court filings began surfacing, showing that someone anonymous had submitted an official request for federal review of alleged unethical label interference practices within the industry. Fans quickly speculated that 50 Cent was behind it. Some believed it was Nicki. Others thought a third-party whistleblower had stepped in. Whatever the truth, it meant one thing. The real legal system was now sniffing around the entertainment elite. Suddenly, Jay-Z wasn't just facing rumors, he was facing scrutiny. And that's when 50 delivered his final words. On his podcast, with that same grin he's worn for 2 decades, he said, "I told you, you can't outsmart the streets." The game may change, but the truth don't. That clip became legendary. Within a month, the dust began to settle. Nicki returned to the spotlight stronger than ever, dropping a freestyle that had fans calling it a career resurrection. The bars were razor sharp, full of coded shots, but one line stood out. They tried to dim the queen's light, but forgot I glow in the dark. Fatty reposted it with the caption, "And that's how you end an empire." By now, everyone knew this wasn't just about Nicki. It was about decades of silent control, power moves, and narratives written by people behind closed doors. 50 had done what no one else dared to, pulled the curtain back and made the world see the puppeteers. Whether every detail was true or not didn't even matter anymore. Because perception is power. And at that moment, 50 owned it. The closing scene of this story isn't chaos, it's peace, the kind that only comes after a storm. Nicki Minaj stands triumphant, her legacy unshaken. 50 Cent, as always, laughs his way to another victory, not just as an artist, but as a man who proved once again that truth is the ultimate weapon. And as the industry tries to move on, one question still lingers in the air. If this is what 50 is exposed now, what secrets are still waiting to be revealed? Secrets are still waiting to be revealed.